Hey guys, so today again, we started last week on solving equations, but today we're going to be working with solving equations, but dealing with variables on both sides, right? Solving equations with variables on both sides. And it's one of those things that you guys showed me last week, you can solve equations, great. But I want to make sure that you guys can actually solve them when there are variables on both sides, because that's sometimes where people have issues. So let's say I were to take this. 6x plus 5 equals 3x plus 11. And what some people would do that struggle with this sometimes is they see 6x right there. They see 3x right there. Automatically, they would want to say combine like terms, right? So add 6x and 3x to give us 9x, and add 5 and 11 to give us 16. Again, the idea of combining like terms is a good idea. There's just one major problem. You have an equal sign here, right? So you have an equal sign right there. You have everything that's on one side of the equal sign. You have everything that's on the other side. So this is all on the left side. This is all on the right side. And whenever it's on different sides, you can't just combine like terms. You actually have to move things from one side to the other, right? So it's that moving terms that actually sometimes gives people issues. My advice to you to always make your life a lot easier, always get rid of the smallest variable. Because the second you get rid of that smallest variable, your life becomes a lot easier, right? So looking at this, right? If we look for the smallest variable, we see that it's 3x, right? We know that we want to combine the 3x with the 6x, because that has an x, that has an x, right? Just like what you did last week. But since it's on the opposite side, since they're on different sides, we have to get rid of this. We have to move that over. How do you always move over a term? How do you get rid of it? You always do the opposite, right? So looking at that 3, we see that this 3 is positive, right? Again, don't ever look at the sign after. It's always what's in front of it. Since this 3 is positive, we want to do the opposite. Opposite of a positive is a negative, right? So subtract 3x. And now if I'm subtracting 3x from there, we want to subtract 3x from here, right? And again, two things. Always get rid of the smallest variable, right? Smallest variable was 3, not 6. And whenever you want to get rid of it, you always got to do the opposite. Opposite of a positive is a negative, right? That cancels. And if I subtract 3 from here, I got to subtract 3 from here. 6 minus 3 gives us 3x, right? And now once you've gotten rid of the smallest variable, it's become a problem that all of you can do, right? Because we have 3x, we have now plus 5. We have an equal sign, and we have 11. So that's all it was. Got rid of the smallest variable, so 6x minus 3x gave us 3x, right? And since it was positive, we subtracted, and then we brought everything down. Plus 5 equals, and then the 11 that was there. Because now once you've gotten rid of the smallest variable, the rest is easy. You have 3x plus 5 equals 11. Anything with the variable, always save for last, so the opposite of a positive 5 is a negative 5. If I subtract it from there, subtract it from here, that cancels, right? So we're left with now 3x equals 6, right? And then, since we're trying to get x by itself, we got to get rid of the 3. Opposite of multiplication, right? Since it's right next to the variable, opposite of multiplication is division. And if I divide this by 3, I need to divide that by 3. 3's there, become 1, right? So we have x equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. Done. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Once you guys get it to this, all of you can solve this. All of you have solved it. You've shown it to me. It's just always remember, whenever you see variables on two sides, always get rid of the smallest variable. It will make your life a lot easier. And let's do a little bit more practice, guys, just for you to see it and feel comfortable with it. Hopefully you guys do feel comfortable with it, which makes life a lot easier. But now we have, let's say, 4a minus 8 equals 8 plus 7, right? Let's say we have that. And again, always get rid of the smallest variable, right? We have 4a, we have a, the smaller variable is a, right? So now, how do we get rid of it? Do the opposite, right? Forget about that plus sign. We see that the a is positive. So if the a is positive, opposite of a positive is negative a. If I subtract a from there, I need to subtract a from here because they're the only ones that have variables, right? So again, opposite of a positive a was a negative a. If I subtract a from here, I subtract a from here. And now a's cancel out, right? We know that we have 4a right there. We're getting rid of 1, right? Because in front of every variable, there's always a number 1. So if we have 4 a's and we're getting rid of 1a, 4a minus 1a is 3a, right? And again, that cancels out now because we just did it. So 4a minus 1a gave us 3a, right? And now what do we have left over? We have a minus 8, we have an equal sign, and then we have a 7, a positive 7, right? That's what that means. It's a positive 7. But since we see it already that it's positive, we don't have to write the plus. And now once you're here, same thing you guys have done. Save anything with the variable for last. So we'd want to get rid of the 8. Opposite of a negative is a positive. So add 8 here, add 8 there. The 8's right here cancel out. So we're left with 3a equals 8 plus 7 gives us 15. And again, all I did, brought down the 3a, brought down the equals. 7 plus 8 gives us 15. Now to get a by itself, opposite of multiplication is division. And if I divide that by 3, I gotta divide this by 3. The 3's cancel out, right? They're 1. So we're left with a equals, and then 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. Again, it's always, once you get in the habit of getting rid of the smallest variable, it makes your life so much easier, guys. A lot easier. And I don't want you to also always think that you're always moving to the same direction, because it's not always the case, right? So let's say I had 5f plus 2 equals 9f minus 10, right? So now again, it's not always moving from the right to the left. It's always getting rid of the smallest variable. So we have a 5f, we have a 9f. Smallest variable is the 5, so we want to get rid of that, right? And now again, since that's the smallest, we see that the 5 is positive, right? Because there's nothing in front of it. Opposite of a positive is a negative, so we're going to do minus 5f. We're also going to subtract it from here because those are the two with the variables. And all I did, again, we have a 5f, we have a 9f. You always want to get rid of the smallest variable because it will always make your life a lot easier. Cancel that out, right? So what do we have? Over here on this side, we have a positive 2, right? We have 2. We have equals. We know that 9f minus 5f is 4f. All I did was 9 minus 5 gave us 4. We have a minus, and we have a 10, right? So again, all I did was I got rid of the smallest variable, right? The smallest variable was 5. Brought it to the other side. Opposite of addition, opposite of a positive was a negative. Subtract 5, gave us 4. And again, some of you aren't used to seeing it this way, but it's still the same thing you guys always do. You know you want to get f by itself, right? So you have the 4, you have the 10, right? So 4 we save for last. Let's get rid of this 10. Opposite of a negative is a positive, right? Opposite of subtraction is adding. And if I add 10 to this side, I gotta add 10 to this side, right? So we see that, again, opposite of subtraction was addition. Add a 10 there, add 10 here. Those two cancel out, right? So what do we have left? We know that 2 plus 10 gives us 12 equals, and then we have that 4f, right? And now we're just left to the one step. Again, once you get rid of the smallest variable, it's always the same thing. It's always easy. The way that we get f by itself, to isolate f, we got to get rid of 4, right? The opposite operation of multiplication is division. Divide this by 4 as well, right? The 4's cancel, right? They give you 1. So we're left with f equals, we know that 12 divided by 4 is 3. And it doesn't matter. Sometimes people will ask, well, if I have 12 divided by 4 here, I would have to write it 3 equals f, right? Because again, 3 equals f. It doesn't matter, guys. In the end, it's still the same thing. Whether you're saying f equals 3 or 3 equals f, you're saying the exact same thing. Order for that does not matter, guys, at all. But just realize, it's always getting rid of that smallest variable. And it's got one more problem I want to show you guys, just again, to make sure that you get the difference between seeing variables on different sides and on the same side. Let's do this. Let's say we have 6h minus h, right, plus 4 equals 2h plus 25, right? Now here's the thing. You got 3 variables, right? You have 6h, you have h, and then you have 2h there. And now think, sometimes people start thinking, let me get rid of things, let me start moving things around. Just think for a sec, guys. You have the equal sign here, right? You have everything that's on the right side. You have everything that's on the left side. Everything that's on this side, is there anything that we can combine here? Yeah, because on this side, we do have like terms, right? We have a 6h and we have an h, right? And again, maybe sometimes it's also easier to see it this way, where you split up sides, right? You have this side here, and everything that's on this side of the equal sign, we have the 6h, right? And we have the h. And we can combine those because they're like terms on the same side, right? So that's the whole thing. It's on the same side. And when it's on the same side, you can combine them. So if we have 6h's here, right? We're subtracting 1h. If we have 6 h's and we're getting rid of 1h, then we now have 5h, right? And then plus 4, right? Because we got rid of that. We combined those. 6h minus h gave us 5h plus 4 equals, and then everything on that side, 2h plus 25. And I just want to draw that line because I did want you guys to see everything that's on the left side, everything that's on the right side. But now that you've gotten to this form, let's get rid of that line, right? Because you don't really need it anymore, because now it's just exactly what you've been doing this whole time, right? Because now once you have this, again, you still have two variables, but now they're on different sides, right? One's on the left side, one's on the right side, right? Get rid of the smallest variable, guys. We got 5h, we got 2h. Smallest variable is the 2h. 2h is positive. Opposite of a positive is a negative. Subtract 2h. Or subtract 2h from here too, because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Those cancel. So if we have 5h's and we got rid of 2, we're going to have 3h's left, right? And now it's just writing what we have. Plus 4 equals, and then a positive 25, right? And again, positive plus, in reality, a lot of times it's the same exact thing, guys. There's no difference. It's just the way people think of it. So again, 5 minus 2 gave us 3h, plus 4 equals, and then the 25 was there. Because now once you have it to this stage, right? Again, anything with the variable, we say for last. Get rid of that 4. And opposite of addition and subtraction, subtract 4 from there. Those cancel out, right? And I'm going to write this over here just for you guys to be able to see it. We have 3h equals 25 minus 4 is 21. And now to get h by itself, again, opposite of multiplication is division. Divide that by 3. The 3's cancel out. We're left with h equals 21 divided by 3 gives us 7. Okay, best advice I can ever give you guys. Always get rid of the smallest variable, guys, because your life will become a lot easier. And it's always solving equations, always doing the inverse operation, the opposite operation, just to make sure that you're actually canceling out terms. But always ask yourself, before you just start adding any terms, any like terms, always wonder, are they on the same side? Because if it is on the same side, you can just combine them. But if they're on different sides, where that's on the left and that's on the right, if they're on different sides, guys, you always got to get rid of one by doing the opposite. Any questions? Feel free to ask.